Hey, it's Tara. Today I'm going to review Miss Buncle's book by D.E. Stevenson, a cozy country English village novel published in 1934. So I bought this book because I think it was on sale and I read the premise and I thought it sounded really charming, and I kind of needed something light to read, so I went ahead and got it, and boy was that a good idea. The protagonist of the story is Miss Barbara Buncle, a middle-aged woman who is, I guess, sort of independently wealthy, and she lives alone with her maid Dorcas in her country home. Now, Miss Buncle is independently wealthy. She has enough money to at least keep her comfortable in her current home. However, the stock market crash has definitely affected her bank book, and in an effort to make some more money, she decides to write a book. Miss Buncle feels like she has no imagination, so she decides to write about the things she knows, which is actually people, specifically the people of Silver Stream, her own country village. Halfway through the book that Miss Buncle writes, a golden boy comes along and stirs things up and causes some, crazy things to happen and for things to be shaken up and so on. Miss Buncle sends the book to a publisher who immediately reads it and decides that it is absolutely what this world needs, and he publishes it, and it is an instant hit. The problem is the people in Silverstream who read the book immediately, well, most of them immediately recognize that the story is about them, and some of them aren't portrayed very well. That isn't to say that it's undeserved. The book is basically like having a mirror held up to you. You can see yourself as reflected from the viewpoint of another person, and this causes a lot of changes and issues in the people of the village, including changes in the unassuming and shy Barbara Buncle. This book is just a light, cozy read. I would highly recommend it for anyone who needs a break from maybe heavier books or just wants a light laugh. There are maybe there's just one slightly serious moment in the book, but overall the tone is quite light and quite interesting. And I think the moral of the story basically seems to be to not judge a book by its cover, in the case of Miss Barbara Buncle, whom no one believes could have written the book, and also to sort of, treat people well, be a good human being in general. The book is part of a series, and probably I would like to continue the series at some point, just because it is such a light, fun read. There are some interesting issues with, like, female gender roles and that sort of thing, because it was written in 1934, but there are several independent women in the book, as well as a lesbian couple, which I don't think the book actually says that they're lesbians, but that was my first thought upon reading it, and I think other readers have had the same thought about that. So that was really interesting to see that depicted in the story, even though it's not, no attention is really brought to it. To me, it was quite clear, that they had some sort of special relationship. So I thought that was really nice to see. That being said, the book doesn't feel terribly dated. There are some class issues as well as the gender issues, and of course it isn't completely white cast, but it still doesn't feel too dated when you read it. So I think that even if you're not a big fan of historical fiction, if you like slice of life fiction, you would probably enjoy this book. So the final opinion on this one is I would give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was just a good, fun read, and I really enjoyed it, and I would highly recommend it to anyone else who is also looking for a good, fun read. If anybody has read this, I would love to hear what you thought about it. What did you think of the class issues and the Miss Pretty and Miss King? Do you think they're lesbians? Do you think the author was sort of alluding without directly coming out and saying it? There's no judgment against the women. In fact, she gives them a really wonderful ending in her book So I'm curious as to what you would think about, what you thought about that if you have read it. And if you haven't and you do, please feel free to talk to me about it later, I guess. But yeah, anyways, good book. Definite recommend. Until next time.